Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome back to our ongoing series of Star Wars commentaries with me and Isaac.
Another happy prequel.
um, this time we're doing episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This should be a lot
hmm
of fun. Without further ado, we are watching the 2019 version of the film once again, and without further ado,
If you'd like to sync this up with your own Blu-ray copy of the film, put the film to the start and press play in 3, 2, 1, go.
so what voice are you going to be doing for the for the crawl this time?
Well, this time I thought the most appropriate one has to be the Clone Wars narrator
Oh,
that you get at the start of every episode, because this crawl reminds me so much of. I could see this crawl being used in an episode.
same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
War.
Yeah, gotta wait for the text to come up because he never says the episode
Oh no, he
title, the
doesn't, does
narrator.
he?
No.
Tom Kane, I think, is the name of the guy who does it.
hmm War. The Republic is crumbling under attacks by the ruthless Sith Lord Count Dooku. There are heroes on both sides. Evil is everywhere. In a stunning move, the fiendish droid leader General Grievous has swept into the Republic capital and kidnapped Chancellor Palpatine, leader of the Galactic Senate. As the Separatist droid army attempts to flee the besieged capital with their valuable hostage, two Jedi Knights lead a desperate mission to rescue the captive Chancellor.
Hands down, the best crawl of the prequels.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
so much better.
It's basically like Return of the Jedi. It's basically a rescue mission,
Yeah.
and that's how you open a Star Wars film. Not I'm going to a meeting to deal with tax trade or shit
Yeah.
like that.
It's action. It's exciting. It's Biff. It's Biff Bam Pow. Um.
Imagine if George Lucas did Episode 7. Han
Oh.
Solo has received complaints from the tax office about his space pension.
Luke Skywalker's fled the country to avoid paying his taxes. That's why he's missing.
A representative from the Senate is coming to meet with him.
Yeah. So this opening shot already is pretty impressive. Like
Yeah,
this is a great
already
opening.
yeah, it's probably the most coherent the prequels are, I'd say,
Yeah,
this opening 20, 25 minutes.
yeah,
And yeah, and also it feels like an episode of the Clone Wars,
it
because
really does. Yeah,
it pro it probably be the final episode of a 4 episode arc, because this would probably be episode 4, and I'm willing to bet that episodes 1 to 3 would be like the Separatists attacking Coruscant, uh, Palpatine getting kidnapped, Anakin and Obi-Wan being called back to Coruscant, because I that's actually seen in the final season of the Clone Wars, isn't it? Do they say we've got to get back?
yes, yeah. That's it. That's the in the it all sort of the final stretch of episodes of the Clone Wars takes place at the same time as this. So you sort of see events from different points of view and stuff. So it's and this is actually the first time I've watched this film since watching the end of the Clone Wars. So it's interesting now, sort of perceiving this,
hmm
knowing that on another planet, Ahsoka is fighting Darth Maul and all that's going on at the same
Yeah.
time as this.
hmm
But it is an incredible this opening action scene. I don't think anyone has a problem with this at all.
Yeah,
Because
neither
it's
do
just
I.
it feels so Star Warsy. There's quips finally. There's jokes. The jokes are back. Banter.
Yeah.
Lots of action. It's just great. It's great.
hmm My only complaint is they don't say Red 1 standing by, Red 6
Oh
standing
yeah.
by.
And again, the sound design is just brilliant.
Mm-hmm. And I have watched the making of stuff here, and they said our intention was to try and create an outer atmosphere space battle. Like, we're not exactly in space, but we are above a planet that. And yeah, knowing that, you do notice a bit more details that they're still in the planet's atmosphere.
Oh, for sure, yeah. There's there's a lot of attention to detail in this, and earlier on there was there was a kitchen sink that smashed against the ship. They put in a CGI kitchen sink, which is
lovely.
a fun little Easter egg. It's like the potato in Empire Strikes Back. And this reminds me of one of my favourite levels on the Lego game. This was hands down one of my favourite levels, just for how sort of epic it was.
Mm-hmm.
And these buzz droids, actually, you could they were like secret characters in Lego Star Wars. Where you
they were, yeah.
Yeah, you had to put in like codes to unlock them, and I remember discovering that one day, and just it blew my mind. I was like a kid. I was just like, "Oh my god, I've just discovered this unknown secret." But yeah,
and yeah, the final season of Clone Wars does add a bit more of a perspective to this film, because I think just before doing this mission, Anakin has just seen Ahsoka again for the first time since she left at the end of season 5, I think.
yes, and. Yeah, it's really interesting that they went that route for the Clone Wars, having it take place at the same time as this. Because on watching this now, it does make it a little bit weird that they never mention Ahsoka. Because you would think in canon there would be a mention of her, surely, but you can't really avoid that. It's going to happen when you add in a character that didn't exist.
Well,
at this point.
The funny thing about Clone Wars, the final season in particular, is that George Lucas intended to open this film with a load of battles on different planets, and thanks to the Clone Wars, he was able to achieve that.
You can see that,
in fact, apparently the original cut for this was going to be 4 hours long.
Yeah, I've heard that, and there's been calls so many times recently. I've seen people like, release the 4-hour cut of Revenge of the Sith, and it's like... it's it would be cool, but I would think that would just be like a work print, surely, like a rough cut. It wouldn't be
it cost a fortune to try and
oh god, yeah,
get it up to film standard.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Though here's another of the prequel isms. Why is the control panel for the shield on the outside, where someone can easily shoot at it?
Proper video game logic. Shoot the big button and then
the shields are up. Press A to disable them. Yes, master.
But already the CGI looks so much more polished in this. Like even
it does.
Even just the droids, for example, it just looks so much more polished than episode 2, and it was only a couple of years between them. It was only 3 years, but it was just
In fact, I half expected season 7 of the Clone Wars to have the Battle of Coruscant take place, maybe finally see it, but I think they probably didn't do that for 2 reasons. A, the 2003 version had already shown us that in chapters. And B, I think people wanted to see more Clone Wars exclusive characters and to find out what they were doing during Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. It does make sense, for sure.
Speaking of General Grievous, I have met Matthew Wood. He's a really lovely guy.
Yes, yeah. He's
he kindly did the whole hello there, General Kenobi, you are a bold one.
Yeah, I think I've seen that video that you put on your He's got, and I mean General Grievous as a character is always one that I've been really fascinated with, because it's just like this droid that's got a cough and he's like humanoid, but he knows how to use lightsabers. He's a really fascinating character. Yeah.
I've heard fans don't like him in the CGI Clone Wars series because apparently he's too much of a coward in that. Whereas in the 2D one where he was introduced, he's a lot more intimidating,
Mm.
which I've not seen yet.
No, I've not seen it either. I've seen the bit where Mace Windu crushes his chest, and that's why he has the cough. But that's the only bit I've seen from
Yeah.
it. But I mean, from the 2008 Clone Wars, the CGI one, I think it fits with his behavior in this quite well. Him being a bit of a
Yeah.
coward, it does kind of, it does fit.
And how he keeps escaping, like they can never catch him.
Yes,
But
yeah,
then again, that's kind of a problem in this film because with the amount of times he's escaped, it's almost a bit too easy how he's taken down.
yeah, for sure. Like it's literally just a blaster shot to the to the chest, and it's just like God, the amount of the battles that the dude's been in. Even if one of his own droids just shot him in the wrong place, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
It's just such an easy sort of out. But yeah, I do like how in the Clone Wars they always made an attempt to never have Anakin meet General Grievous,
That's true, yeah.
just so that the one line in this of when they first meet is like, it was shorter than I expected, just so that one line can make sense.
Yeah, that's a detail I do like because I always saw him as Obi-Wan's nemesis, whereas
Yeah,
Count
for
Dooku was
sure.
more Anakin's.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And
and already the banter between these two is much better, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like the chemistry is there now. That they feel
Hmm.
like friends, like the whole did I say anything? I didn't say anything. You know that feels like
Yeah.
friends talking. Whereas their banter in episode 2 felt like two people who hated each other.
Yeah.
This actually feels like friends, and the fact that they did get there, albeit in the last film in the trilogy, but whatever. The fact that they did get there eventually, it's nice.
Now going back to the whole, it's like poetry, they rhyme. This is very much like the throne room scene in Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a different outcome because the Jedi kills the Sith, whereas in Return of the Jedi, Luke doesn't.
Yeah, for sure. Having the Emperor watch over, the space battle, it works. It's a nice bit of foreshadowing, and though I will say I don't like that
So,
whole thing of him flipping down the stairs. That's just,
yeah.
it's just too extra.
Also, two things: where are they going to get help from? And B, Sith Lords are our speciality.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the past two films, you've got your asses kicked by two of them.
yeah, true. Yeah, but I always found that line from Palpatine quite like, "Oh, you're no match of him. He's a Sith Lord." And it's like, what do you think Jedi do? What do you think Jedi actually are?
Yeah, going back to Clone Wars, I wonder when was the last time Anakin and Dooku met? Is it in season 4 when they're on Naboo?
I think it's in
I
season
can't
4. Yeah,
because I can't recall them meeting in seasons 5 through 7. So
yeah. No, I
yeah,
don't think they
that
did.
might be the last time. And one thing that hasn't aged well, Christopher Lee's CGI face.
Yeah, that's never looked
Oh,
good. It's so
no.
obvious, and it's just like, oh man, like it's cool that they've got him, but it does look so silly.
Hmm.
But it is cool they brought him back for like this 3-minute cameo,
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm.
and he's great even in the short time he has in this.
Hmm. And originally, apparently, he was going to beg for mercy when he's at Anakin's, when he's on his knees, but
Yeah,
Christopher Lee objected, saying Dooku wouldn't do that.
yeah, I've heard that story.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's and it.
because you do wonder, was Dooku aware of what what Palpatine had in mind here?
Well,
Like, because he knows that Palpatine is Sidious, so yeah, was it going to be like, oh, we're going to recruit him to the dark side together? You'll be with us all the time.
Yeah,
But
well,
obviously that doesn't happen.
that's it. I kind of like how Christopher Lee plays this, because he looks at the Chancellor. He's like, "Wait, what the fuck? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Well, like he plays it quite well. I think, like the fear.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we've just got the do it, do it.
Do it.
It's pretty.
Chancellor Palpatine, how do you respond to the Separatist crisis? Do it.
Do it.
I agree with that.
Yeah, we're 15 minutes into this, give or take, and that's pretty violent. In the first 15 minutes, we've had 2 hands cut off and a beheading. So it's pretty. It makes a statement about the tone of this one, because at the time this was the only Star Wars film to be rated PG-13 when it came out.
Well, every action movie is rated 12 now.
Yes, it is. But yeah, it's interesting. It makes a statement about the tone of this. This is hands down, I'd say, up until The Last Jedi, this was the darkest in the entire saga, I think.
Yeah. His fate will be the same as ours. They all die on the Death Star.
Yeah. That's a good point, actually, yeah. And they got cool little detail there. They got rid of the racism, because
Hooray.
yeah, that one was American then. So
That's true, yeah.
it's still so weird to me that there were no clone trooper armor. There was no armor built for any of the clone troopers. It's so weird to me.
Yeah, true.
It's just
It is.
Tamira Morrison's head bobbing along like a CGI body, and it's just like, what? Surely it would have been more expensive to do it that way.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I love this. Palpatine could easily get away because of his
Yes.
powers, but he's got to keep up the pretense that he's a harmless old man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a good actor. He's a
Yeah.
thespian. He keeps up the act. Yeah, no, like apparently in the 4-hour version, this whole rescuing the Chancellor was going to be the first hour of the film. So the entire first hour was just going to be this whole set piece, which is insane, really,
Yeah,
when you
because
think about it.
There's deleted scenes of like elevator antics, and there's that weird scene where Anakin copies R2's sound
Yeah.
effects. It's like, I'm pretty sure beep beep wow is down.
That's
You're right. Beep
mental.
beep wow is up. Like, wait, what?
That is an insane deleted scene, and when I was in college, I used to show that to people who had never seen it before, who were Star Wars fans and had never seen that before, and their face every time was a picture, because it's mental. It's just, it's just Hayden Christensen's mouth moving and then a droid sound coming out of it. It's so bizarre, and there's also a deleted scene of Shaq T, isn't there? Shaq T gets
Oh God, Shark T.
murdered.
She's got more endings, I think, than Return of the King. Because there's the deleted scene where Grievous kills her. There's a deleted scene during Order 66 where Anakin kills her in the Jedi Temple. And if you played the Force Unleashed game, she's a boss. You have to kill her.
Yes, you do. I forgot about that. I forgot. I haven't played Force Unleashed in ages. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but I find it so weird in that game where you kill Shark T, but then you've got to go back to that planet to kill the apprentice. Like,
Yeah. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone while you're there, dude. It's just like...
yeah. And you've got to kill the bull rancor. Oh, you thought the rancor was bad. Now we've got one with a horn on it.
Now we've got one with a horn on it.
It's so weird. I did like Force Unleashed, but yeah, I think I preferred playing the PS3 version because I first played the PSP version, and I think that had more levels because that went on forever. It really did.
Yeah, I first played them a few years ago because they were free with Xbox Games with Gold, and both of them were free.
Okay.
So I played the first one, and I really enjoyed it. I got through that game really quickly. I was like, this is great. Why haven't I ever played this before? And then the second one, I thought was a huge step down in quality. I really thought the second one was a disappointment, and I never went back to it. These guys are cool. These bodyguards, they're really really cool.
Yeah. Plus, their staffs, like, they can't get cut through by a lightsaber, and it makes sense that
Yeah,
the Separatists would make technology um, that'd be able to withstand against the Jedi.
absolutely. Yeah, it's and the fact that you cut their heads off and they still keep going, really cool.
Yep.
And Obi-Wan just walks away, not realizing. Yeah. Um, I think here at some point, there are two droids that like punch each other and go run. Like the one punches the other one and goes run. Yeah, there they
Yeah,
are.
it does, yeah. I mean, there was rumour that they were going to get Gary Oldman to voice General Grievous or John Rhys Davies,
Oh, really?
but yeah, apparently it was completely false. Like, it
Yeah.
was just a rumour on the internet.
Oh, can you
Yeah.
imagine Gary Oldman as General Grievous?
hmm Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do wonder how Matthew Wood ended up doing the voice because he was a sound editor, but it's still a good voice for him.
Yeah, it's a great voice. Yeah, it is odd, isn't it? You sort of was it a case of like, oh, fuck, George, we can't get anyone. Oh, just you do it. It's just
Yeah.
like you do it. We'll put a filter on it. It'll. But yeah, no, Matthew Wood's great as Grievous. There's a lot of personality to him. Um,
Yeah.
and it
Well,
had.
he had done the battle droids for the first two prequels, so
Oh
maybe they
yeah,
thought,
true.
get the guy who does the droids to be the leader of the droid army.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? And this is all fun. This is all really good Star Warsy fun.
Yeah.
Two Jedi rescue mission, and now they're gonna have to land a broken ship. It's all really good fun. But,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just it's simple fun that you can follow easily. I'm not scratching my head thinking, who's the Trade Federation? Why are they? What's all this thing about blocking planets?
exactly. Yeah, it's not. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, this film does have the same problem as the other two. Whenever it slows down,
it
because
does. Yeah.
in a minute we're gonna slow right down, and we're gonna have more wooden dialogue and characters standing in fake environments. But this first 20 minutes, first half hour of the film is great.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
really good fun. And I really like Palpatine's annoyance whenever R2 beeps. You can see him looking at R2. The annoyance is great.
He's probably thinking, if I recruit Anakin, I'm going to tell him to leave the droid at home.
Yeah. And I mean, this every time R2 beeps, he just looks at him with disdain. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's bright and colourful as well, and that really does.
hmm
It's just great. It's just really good stuff.
Plus, I love this shot of the ship slowing down and we zoom into the
Oh,
bridge.
it's brilliant. It's really good. Yeah,
Yeah. hmm
another happy landing. There we go.
Now, now coming up here, apparently you can see the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, if you look to the towards the bottom of the screen, pulling into the docking bay, it's quite
Yeah.
obvious when it shows up. There it is,
There it is.
right at the bottom of the screen. Really cool detail.
Piloted by a. I know Solo establishes when he gets the Falcon, but I bet Lucas was planning that to be baby Han Solo
Baby Han
piloting
Solo.
it. Well, funnily enough, he he did have plans to include Han Solo in this film.
Yes, I've heard that. Yeah, I've
I mean, how old would he have been? 12? Because let's assume
yeah,
in let's assume in A New Hope he's Harrison Ford's age, which was what, 35, 34, something like that.
early
And
30s. Yeah, around that.
yeah, and if it's 19 years, that means he's 12 at this point.
Well, interestingly, I don't know if you've ever seen the Lego special, the Padawan Menace.
No, I haven't.
That's a lot of fun, and it's set during the Clone Wars. And in that, there's like this kid that tags along for the adventure, and at the end, the big twist. Spoilers for the Padawan Menace. It's spoilers for a 10-year-old Lego animation. It's revealed that the kid is Han Solo.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and the kid's like 8 years old, 9 years old. So yeah, that would put it about right. Yeah, 11, 12 years old in this film. Though,
With the amount of things in these films that contradict the original trilogy, I'm surprised Lucas remembered to include. Oh yeah, Padme's got to be pregnant.
well, that was the problem, wasn't it? He was changing the original trilogy to match the prequels when it should have been make the prequels to match the original trilogy. It shouldn't be the other way around.
Hmm. And also, Padme's hair here is like Princess Leia's in the original.
It is, yeah. She
Foreshadowing.
Padme really gets shafted in this film. She, considering how sort of in the middle of the action she was in 1 and 2, she just spends this film just pregnant. That's all she is here. She's just sitting down pregnant. At the end, she gets strangled.
Well, she had an entire subplot cut from the film, and it's basically the seeds of the Rebel Alliance being planted because a group of senators, including Senator Organa, they form an alliance to say we need to stop the Chancellor from getting too powerful or making too many changes, and they do confront the Chancellor about it, but it just doesn't go anywhere, I think, in the overall film.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I can see why it was cut.
And that's the problem, isn't it? And it feels odd because each trilogy has 3 leads, doesn't it? And this trilogy was meant to be Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme. And it feels weird that in the first film, one of your leads is a child and played by a completely different actor. And in the last film, one of your leads has nothing to do. Literally
true,
nothing.
yeah.
It just feels really weird that that's the way things sort of went. And yeah, I said this in the Phantom Menace commentary. The Clone Wars kind of has ruined this film in particular for me because they did such a good job with Anakin's character towards the end and throughout the whole show.
Yeah,
really,
because
going back to this, it's just like there's no comparison.
In the series, the Council do treat him pretty much like garbage because there's an arc where Obi-Wan has to go undercover and fake his death. They don't tell Anakin. And there's bits where Anakin's anger gets the better of him because I think it's in season 4, he has to free some people on a planet from slavers. And obviously being a former slave himself, he's pissed off that he has to fight them.
Yes, yeah.
And I think he ends up killing one of them in cold blood. So, they do his dark side transformation pretty well, and there's also the Mortis arc where he sees his own future.
Oh, the Mortis arc, yeah, that's my favourite set of episodes, I think, probably apart from the finale. I love the Mortis arc, and yeah, I think it was in the run-up to The Rise of Skywalker, I watched all the films, and I binge-watched all of the Clone Wars, and after binging all of the Clone Wars, going to this film really highlighted this film's weaknesses because I had spent so long watching the Clone Wars and seeing what good of a job, how good that series is, and how well it presented these characters in this war, and going to this, it just highlighted some of the weaknesses, which is a shame.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because this is now really held up there. This film, this is really sort of considered
Yeah,
one of the best.
quite a lot of people consider this the one of the best. Like people say, "Oh, it's the best since Empire." I mean,
Mm.
to be honest, actually, I think this film started that whole trend. Oh, this Star Wars film is the best since Empire. Force Awakens comes out, best since Empire.
Yeah,
Rogue One, the best since Empire. Like,
yeah,
I mean, Empire Strikes Back. Obviously, we'll get to that, but I think it's at such a high standard that no film after, not none of the Star Wars films after it have held up to that standard yet.
yeah. And that's the thing. It's just like, yeah. And this is now. As a kid, it was my favorite. And I think
Yeah,
many people my age now who I'm talking to consider it their favorite now, and it's on the internet at large now. This is loved. I would say this is a really sort of well loved film, and it does feel odd to me that perception has really shifted since the sequels came out, and
well,
yeah,
yeah. This was the first Star Wars film I did ever watch when I
yeah,
was 8, and yeah, I did like it. I mean, there are aspects of it I do like about it. It's definitely a more competent film than the first two. I can't say it's good. It's one of those films that I think has great scenes here and there, but doesn't work as a whole for me. But
yeah.
if it's people's favorite, I think that's great for them,
Oh
and
yeah,
more power to them.
absolutely. Yeah, it's I still really like it. It's just yeah.
Yeah,
I suppose it's because I said I talked about this last time. Because I was such a defender of the prequels when I was younger, and I grew up with a lot of hate towards them from the fandom at large, and I was defending them. It feels weird to me now that the roles have sort of reversed, and I'm the one going,
yeah,
well, it's not that great, but I like it,
yeah.
and now suddenly everyone's defending the prequels, and it's just a matter of how an audience who grew up with them are now older, and perceptions
hmm
shift, and it is fascinating to witness, and I can't wait for like 10, 15
Because I'd
years to see how
argue,
the sequels are sort of viewed amongst the fandom. It'll be interesting for sure.
yeah, yeah. Because I'd argue that I think when this film came out, there were positive reactions to it, and people were saying,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's definitely better than one and two." But then I think when time passed, particularly, yeah, I'd say before say before The Force Awakens came out, people were saying, "Oh, it's not. Oh, it's better than Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, but it's not saying much. It has merits, but it's not enough to be good," and things like that.
yeah.
But now yeah, some people class it as their favorite, and that's great.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It really is just interesting to see how the perception of these films has shifted since the Disney era has come along, and yeah, it's
hmm
it's it's really interesting to watch because this was not a film that 10 years ago I thought would ever be classed by the general public and the fandom as one of the best, uh,
hmm
and now it is. So. But yeah, these scenes between Anakin and Padme are still a little bit
Yeah,
painful.
pretty
It
terrible.
was the one on the
Yeah.
balcony earlier that was so love has
So
blinded you.
lovers. Oh no.
Right, and again, as I said last time, the film slows down, the weaknesses show, and
hmm
that's very much happening with this.
But I'd argue, yeah, there is more focus in this one because there's more focus and a bit more conflict.
Oh yeah, for
Whereas
sure.
whereas in Clones, the romance between Padme and Anakin, it wasn't strong enough to become a conflict. I mean, the conflict was will they, won't they, should they, is it right? But A, they never really bring up if it is right for them to fall in love, and B, the film just plays it out as if they expect you to know that they will fall in love, because if not, but the original trilogy can't happen.
Exactly. Yeah, it expects you to think it's a given, really. Um,
hmm
yeah.
Whereas here, I think there's more ideas of what the prequel should have been, a bit more character driven. For example, we know Anakin will fall to the dark side, we but without having seen this one, we don't know the specific details. And here, it's bad dreams, um, fear of loss. being underappreciated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, exactly. This has some really strong themes going for it, and like you said, there's a lot more focus on conflict and character in this one. It works a lot better than the previous two. Feel like they just sort of float around doing their own thing, biding time until until they can really shift into gear and get telling the Darth Vader story. Whereas this one, because we're there, it feels like it's really sort of it's doing what the prequels were meant to do in the first place, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd think Obi-Wan's saying there, you missed the report on the Outer Rim sieges. Yeah, if this came out after Clone Wars, you'd think Anakin would say, "How's Ahsoka?" or something like that.
Yeah, well, I think that conversation that isn't this scene just after Obi-Wan has that conversation with Ahsoka, like literally moments after, because he's in the same room and he just turns off the hologram thing. I think, yeah,
possibly. Yeah,
I think this is meant to be directly after
I know
that.
because there's an episode later where Obi-Wan speaks to Ahsoka and says, "Count Dooku's dead. I'm now tracking Grievous to Utapau."
That's it. Yeah, that's the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe that's after this then, or maybe it would make sense if it was here.
Must be.
I don't know.
No, it must be after this because they don't know Grievous is on Utapau.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. I will say I've always sort of, not so much as a kid, but as I've grown older, I've sort of began to get a bit more impatient with this whole section of the film, because it does feel sort of very much sort of characters walking around going, "Oh, this is happening, this is happening," whereas at a point like when it all starts kicking off later on in the film, it really sort of starts to get really good. But I've always found this not so much as a kid, but certainly in recent years, I've found this section of the film to drag a little bit.
Yeah, because I'd argue Palpatine is trying to be more of a father figure to Anakin, and that's what he's lacked all his life. The only one who came close to that was Qui-Gon, but now he's dead, of course. So yeah,
exactly.
Obi-Wan felt more like an older brother. Yep, the Council weren't exactly parents of the years, but
yeah, oh yeah,
yeah. So I'd argue. So yeah, I'd see that's why Anakin is drawn to Palpatine because he treats him more like because Palpatine treats him like a son.
Yeah.
Oh God, I've just seen Ki-Adi-Mundi. I realise we're getting that. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Oh, why did that become a meme?
I don't know. This is the thing. I love the prequel memes. They're hilarious, but I am baffled as to why some of them became memes, because it's just like some of them are just ordinary lines. And so it's just, why did things become memes? But yeah, definitely, this is the most memeiest.
Yeah, like, men only think of one thing, and it's disgusting. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, honestly, before the Lego movie or the Emoji movie came out, George Lucas was ahead of the curve and released the meme movie.
The meme movie. And that's really, these films have taken a proper life of their own now, in the sort of in meme culture. It's the legacy is sort of lived on, and that's happened with a lot of things. That's happened with like the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy as well. That's now got a whole second life on its own, from Raimi memes. Raimi memes is a whole subreddit and a whole community. So it's like, yeah,
I think it's because of how. I think it's because of how the dialogue is so light-hearted and so odd that we just get drawn to it, particularly in the Raimi films, like Pizza Time. Or,
Pizza Time.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your
Yeah,
eye.
exactly. And
Trash, bro.
and again, I think that speaks to an audience that watched those films and these films and early 2000s films as children and have now grown up and are at the age where they'll be most sort of engaged with meme culture and everything. It's yeah, and Lord of the Rings memes as well. That's another one.
That's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating, really. And there was this great video on YouTube where explored The Simpsons and how The Simpsons is viewed now in popular culture more from the point of view of the memes now. Yeah, it's interesting. These shots do look really nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's like what the Honest trailer said about this film. Watch how Anakin turns to the dark side because he's passed off for a promotion at work.
That's the yeah,
Yeah.
basically, and I think that's where Clone Wars benefits this because it adds more background events, so you can sort of further buy that this is his turn is something that's been built up to for years.
Yeah, because we did miss it, but when Mace says we don't grant you the rank of master, Anakin actually looks to Obi-Wan as if to say, "You're going to help me out here or defend me?" But obviously Obi-Wan stays silent.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, the actual fall is just way too rushed.
It's too quick.
We literally go from killing is not the Jedi way. 10 minutes later, I'm gonna kill thousands of Jedi.
Yeah, I think the point for me is we have the whole no, it's not the Jedi way. He must live. What have I done? What have I done? And then literally 2 seconds later, it's I pledge myself to your teacher, like unquestioned.
Yeah,
we needed more hesitation.
I'll do it without question. Yeah,
and that does that. Fair dues later in the film. That gets better because we have that bit where he's on Mustafar and he's like crying, and that's a brilliant scene. That is a brilliant scene. But in the moment, it does feel like it's a bit of a rushed jump.
Yeah, I'd have added a bit more visual stuff as well. For example, maybe have. I mean, it's a bit cheap, but maybe have the Emperor give him a red lightsaber. Says like, "Use this, my apprentice."
Yeah.
And when he goes to the temple, he looks at his old one, the blue one, and activates it one last time, but then deactivates it and just throws it away, throwing off the old Anakin Skywalker. And maybe that's how Obi-Wan finds it later when he's in the temple and then gives it to Luke.
It would absolutely make sense because as it is, and a lot of people have pointed this out before, it does make it look like Obi-Wan, this great weapon that's passed down for generations. Obi-Wan's giving it to Luke because it was his destiny. It's a weapon that murdered children, and it's a weapon that murdered all that did all these dark deeds. And I think if they did like your way, it'd be a lot. It would be a lot less messy there, because as it is, it's just like.
I mean, there are edits on YouTube that when Anakin has turned to the dark side and he's murdering the Separatists and fighting Obi-Wan, they've edited it so he's using a red saber.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. Yeah.
Heck, even the Blu-ray art cover has Anakin and Obi-Wan with red sabers.
Yeah, I've always find that weird.
That's not right.
Yeah, because this is probably my favourite in terms of the artwork of these new slipcovers. But yeah, that is a really odd detail to have them both having red lightsabers. Now, George Lucas is in this scene.
He is, he's a big blue alien.
He's Baron Papanoida, who is a character in the Clone Wars. He does pop up a few times. There he is.
Yeah, with his daughter.
Yeah. It's cool that he got. But yeah, in the Clone Wars, it's funny when you see it because they do feature that character, and the animation, it does just look like George Lucas. It's the same, like he's got the white beard and everything, and it's cool. I'm surprised they didn't get him to voice the character.
Now, this scene is the best scene in the prequels, in my opinion. The Darth Plagueis the Wise.
It's very good. It's really well done.
Yeah, pretty much, because Ian McDiarmid speaks throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he has read some Star Wars Shakespeare.
Yeah, yes, yeah, they did those books, didn't they? It was like a retelling of the original trilogy, if it was written by Shakespeare.
Yeah, and I think the reason he completely goes for it here, A, because he's British and Britain has the best actors.
Yeah.
But I also think because he's from a theatre background, so he will do a lot more. He will over exaggerate his performance because quite a lot of people do that. If your background is mainly in theatre, sometimes going to film can be a bit of a hard step because you've got to be a bit more refined and a bit more controlled. Whereas in theatre, you've got to completely go for it.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of when we get things like in classic Doctor Who, for example, actors who were from a theatre background, we get them going really over the top in classic Doctor Who, and memes are born. But I mean, Ian McDiarmid he is having a blast in this film. He's having an absolute. He's loving every minute of it, and he plays he plays this sinister edge really well here, and also later on when he becomes a full cartoon villain, he plays that. He's unlimited power. It's just he's wonderful.
Yeah, Anakin's pretty stupid not to realize he's evil here.
Yes.
Heck, actually, wouldn't it have made more sense if this was the scene where Anakin realizes you're the Sith Lord?
Yeah, it would certainly...
It made more sense.
Because
he's telling him a story about the dark side, so that should be more than enough proof that he knows the ways of the Force.
Well, not only would it make more sense, it would also trim a good 10-15 minutes from the runtime. Because you wouldn't have to have that scene where he goes to the Chancellor and goes, "You're the Sith Lord." You know, it would speed things up a little bit. But maybe it would also be more effective to have, like, him find out here and then go through a conflict where he's like, should I speak up or do I be selfish and let him benefit me?
That'd be such a good idea.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking maybe you'd have to cut the council scenes because Anakin would bring it up, but maybe have that conflict where he's like, should I tell him? But now that I know what the dark side is capable of, I could save Padme.
Yeah, should I use it to my advantage? Yeah. And we get a bit of that later on with that brilliant scene where he's staring out the window and crying, and it cuts between him and Padme. But that's after the Jedi have already gone after the Chancellor. That's after he's already spoken up. But we could have had more of that, I think.
Is it possible to learn this power? Well, I wouldn't know.
Well, I wouldn't know.
Wink, wink. Yeah, just look at those head turns. It's so obviously evil.
Yeah. He's just, and I think Hayden is better in this film for sure. I think he's a lot better in this.
Yeah, he's definitely better, but the dialogue really doesn't help.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there are some points where he's back to the wooden acting from episode 2, but there are points in this where I think that's really what, like when he's screaming "I hate you" and when he sort of breaks down and looking out the window, he's really good in moments in this, and he's a lot better than he was in 2.
Yeah, because particularly on Mustafar when he's not saying anything, he can look really intimidating, and when he's killing the Separatists, that's great as well because not saying any painful dialogue.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember because of this scene, before The Last Jedi came out, so many people were saying, Darth Plagueis is Snoke.
Yeah, I remember that. And that was another thing that people were disappointed about with the sequels, that we didn't get a cameo from Darth Plagueis. And, yeah.
I mean, Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk.
Making its return after the Star Wars holiday special.
Yeah, and to be fair, it looks similar.
To that planet,
It looks similar to what it does in the holiday special. So it to sort of make you wonder. Okay, George Lucas was kind of tipping his hat a bit here.
Yeah, because I'm surprised he hasn't. I'm surprised for the Return of the Jedi special edition he didn't shoot a scene where Luke says, "I've been training with Yoda," and then Chewie goes, "Oh, Yoda, I know him. We used to fight together in the Clone Wars. How is he?"
But it's just like the film stops, a still frame of Chewie opening his mouth, and then a really stilted actor says that line, and then the film just resumes. A seamless change.
Well, there's footage of them filming A New Hope, and you can hear Chewie speaking, saying, "The old man's mad."
The old man's mad. Yeah.
Like, was that Peter Mayhew saying that?
I would think it must have been. Yeah, I doubt they would have gone to the effort.
Yeah, because he must have. Yeah. He must have been speaking on set, so obviously, people could say their lines and be the cue for that, and obviously overdub him with a load of growling.
Exactly.
Kind of like how David Prowse spoke Vader's dialogue on set.
Yeah, for sure.
This on the original Battlefront 2 was such an awesome.
For sure.
Map, and even on the new one, it's still a really great map.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. And this battle's great. I get Planet of the Apes vibes from the Wookiees here. Not just because they're furry, but just like the whole the what they wear and stuff. It just feels like something from Planet of the Apes.
And there's that mission in the original Battlefront 2 of seeing the Wookiees tear droids apart with their bare arms.
Yes, yeah.
It's a shame we don't see that here, but even in the Lego game, if you're playing as Chewie and you walk up to a stormtrooper, press the attack button, it takes his arms off.
Yeah, it's really, really, really awesome.
This was aimed at 3+ year-olds, right? This is the last time they see each other as, well, friends.
As friends, yeah, and it's a nice little detail that Anakin is entirely shrouded in darkness here. When Obi-Wan goes out into the light, Anakin is still in the shadows.
That's true,
symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
And Ewan McGregor's really good in this. He's wonderful anyway, but he's in this especially.
He's got the most to do here, definitely.
Yeah.
Because in episode 1, he's practically a glorified cameo, just looking at him.
Well, he has nothing to do. He just spends all his time on the ship, just talking to Qui-Gon over the intercom. I don't know, communicator. It's a Star Warsy thing.
It's such a shame seeing Cody obey Order 66 when he and Obi-Wan were such good friends in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm
willing to bet. Luke, I wonder if the temptation was there to have Rex obey Order 66 when he was such a popular character. That I bet that really would have tugged at a lot of fans' heartstrings.
Oh, it really would have, and I mean, it's all the more tragic now given what we know about the Clone Wars and the fact that Order 66 was a chip in their heads that they had no control over.
Well, actually, I just forgot. He does obey it in the last season, but doesn't Ahsoka take it out or something?
He fights hard enough against it to give her time to escape, and then they figure out a way to get it out. Yeah, because there's that brilliant bit of animation where he grabs his gun and his hands are trembling, and there's tears running from his eyes as he's like trying.
He says, "Get out of here" or something.
Yeah, he's like, find fives, get out, and then it all kicks off. Yeah, it's. Oh man, that's so good. Clone Wars is so good.
Anakin looked like he was playing on a PSP there.
He did, yeah. He really did. It's quite.
Did you ever play the video game of this film?
I played it briefly on the DS. I never had the console versions, but I had the DS version, which was. I seem to remember it was pretty fun. It was just your sort of standard side scroller. Wasn't anything special, but
because I know when you completed the game, apparently you could do what you want. Like, you could make an alternate ending, because apparently, if you after the Mustafar duel, you could actually, as Anakin, you could kill Obi-Wan, and then when you go, apparently you go back to the ship, and Palpatine says, "Well done, my apprentice," and you can kill him as well.
Oh wow, that's so
and
cool!
Pretty much rule the galaxy.
That's really cool.
Alternate ending.
I might see if I can track down a copy of that. I don't know if it was ever released on GameCube or anything, but I might track down a copy of that and just. because this was fully in the era of movie tie-ins. Like every single film that came out would get a movie tie-in
had
game.
a movie tie-in.
And that trend's really died down now. Like I cannot remember the last time I saw a movie tie-in for a big console.
Yeah, because you get games now that are based on the franchises rather than being a direct
Exactly, yeah.
tie-in.
And if they are a direct tie-in, they're
Yeah.
usually a mobile game or like they're not anything big. I think that trend's really died down now.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad it has because I think it was sacrificing quality over quantity.
Well, that's it.
It was
Yeah.
sacrificing quality, I think, particularly with those god-awful Harry Potter games.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I think the Chamber of Secrets
The first
game.
three,
Yeah, the first
I
three
think,
games are fun.
they're good because they're open world, but
Mm.
they more or less got rid of that, and by Deathly Hallows, they just turned it into COD, but with wands.
Yeah, the Deathly
I'm
Hallows
like,
games
no.
are bizarre. I actually I think the Half-Blood Prince game is kind of underrated because that actually brought back the open world. And that
It
actually
did, yeah, because I played that for the Wii.
Yeah, I had it on the Xbox 360 and I spent many hours in that game just exploring Hogwarts and the dueling missions were always good fun. I quite like that game. It's not brilliant, but yeah, the other ones like Deathly Hallows is just dire, really
Yeah,
dire.
I suppose making potions was pretty fun as well.
Oh yeah, because you had to actually mix the ingredients. Yeah, that was good. But yeah, I mean the problem with movie tie-ins is they're always rushed because they have to meet the same window of release as the film,
Yeah.
which means many of them are just completely rushed. And yeah, making a game is a lot more complex than making a film in terms of how long it takes.
Now, Obi-Wan on this mission has to use stealth and the element of surprise. So what does he do? He picks the biggest creature that makes
Picks
the
a
loudest noises.
Giant. I think his name's Bogger or Boga.
I think it's Boga.
Boga,
Apparently
yeah.
it's a she.
Oh, really? Okay. Because I remember as a kid,
Yeah.
me and my friends were like really obsessed with this thing, and we really were sort of fascinated by it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like these details here with the Separatists. You can see Newt Gunray, Poggle the Lesser, and that
yeah.
that guy in the machine who says, "We're at your disposal, Count."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What Tambor? Yeah.
That's
That's
it,
his
yeah.
name. Yeah. God, Poggle is
yeah, Gunray-
creepy.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned it in the last one, but I do like how he speaks, his dialect. It's like,
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's a pretty creepy way of speaking.
Really creepy. Yeah. The Geonosians are really creepy,
Well, yeah.
actually. I didn't mention it last time, but
Yeah.
they're really creepy.
Yeah, he had a bit more screen time in Attack of the Clones, but it was cut.
Mm.
For example, Anakin and Padme are put on trial, and she says to him, "You're committing an act of war, Archduke," or something like that.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think he pops up again in Clone Wars.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, because we get that whole arc of like of the brain worms.
That's
And
it,
that
yeah.
one of my favorite episodes of the clones actually is when when they're trapped on the ship, and all the clones get infected by the brain worms, and that's a really good episode.
I do like how Obi-Wan's like, "I can't be asked to fight. I'm just going to crush
Yeah,
him."
he's so cocky here. It's so like he's so full of himself. It's great. So self-assured. It's really good. And of course we did miss it, but we got the hello there.
I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku. Okay, A, we've spent 7 seasons trying to catch you. B, Obi-Wan. So we already know.
We know
that.
this.
And B, Obi-Wan trained the guy who killed Count Dooku, so I don't think the chances are very good.
Yes.
I'm surprised Obi-Wan didn't say that after he said, "I've been trained by Count Dooku." He says, "Well, I trained the guy who killed him." Yeah, this fight ain't the best either, because I think they just used too many close-ups again.
Yeah, too many close-ups. But it is kind of, I do like that whole thing there with the spinning lightsabers. That is kind of a cool image. But yeah, you're right. It's not great.
And Grievous as a character is pretty cool. You know, he kills Jedi and takes their lightsabers as
I really love that idea.
Yeah, Lair of Grievous is a great episode.
Oh yeah, it is. It's really atmospheric, wasn't it? Yeah.
And again, it foreshadows Vader, a organic being trapped in a metal shell.
Yeah.
Who has breathing problems.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Vader has his breathing noise. Grievous has his cough. And also, there's a special edition. Well, not special edition. There is an edit for this Blu-ray, and it happened on the 2011 one as well. Clone dialogue is added.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They attack.
They
say, "Everybody out! Come on, let's go!
Let's go!" Yeah. Originally, they were silent, weren't they? Which, yeah. There's another one as well. Earlier on, and I guess later on Kashyyyk, they added CGI moss and like weathering to the rooftops, whereas in the original they were clean. Which, it's just, I just want to know how much money was spent on these things. Like, how much money was spent on adding moss to the rooftops? It's just like, it's just weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
I like the noise that thing makes as well. I like that it's a really
I swear, in A New Hope, on one of the many special editions.
Oh yeah.
When we first see Obi-Wan and he's trying to scare off the Sand People, I swear they use one of those sound effects for a newer version.
Yeah, on the I think it's on the 2004 one. They changed it to the woo, like and in the most
that sound effect just baffles me because I think the most recent one is him going.
Oh God, the most recent one's horrible. It's just like this weird, like, banshee screaming. It's really bad. I actually don't mind the change to the 2004 one because it just sounded like a simple whistle. I actually kind of think that if they were going to change it, they kind of got that right there. But
yeah, the simple whistle should have been used because Obi-Wan's such a peaceful character at that time. Him using that loud roar just doesn't match.
Yeah, I mean, the original works fine anyway because it's him imitating a crate dragon. But yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Interestingly, actually, I don't know if you care too much about spoilers for The Mandalorian, but they had a crate dragon in it recently, and they had all three of the sound effects that have. So we had the original version, they had the first special edition, and the most recent special edition. The crate dragon made all three of the noises, which I thought was a really cool touch, because it's like, canonizing everything.
Now, what Palpatine was looking at on the screen there, was he looking at the future plans for the Death Star? Because it looked like it.
I don't know, yeah, I've always kind of wondered. I guess I've always just kind of assumed that it was just, I guess, the many battles that are going on in the galaxy, but yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, and this reveal just falls flat for me because, it's kind of a blink and you'll miss it moment because he literally just says, "You're the Sith Lord," and that's it.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think the reveal should have come at the end of the Darth Plagueis scene. Yeah,
it should have,
maybe have this scene where Palpatine says, "I know the power of Darth Plagueis. We can help save Padme." And maybe that's the deciding factor where Anakin thinks, "No, I have to turn you over to the Jedi Council" or something like that.
I think it's just because the film is very stop-starty. In this section of the film, like I said earlier, it just feels like, oh, are we gonna find out? Oh no. Oh, we're gonna find out? Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're about to find out. Oh no, wait. It's very stop-starty in that regard. Yeah. Although I must admit, this viewing, when we're doing this, it's not as bad as I had thought on the last couple of times I've watched this. Although actually I remember once putting this on before bed as a kid, and and I woke up. Like I fell asleep and I woke up and the first thing I saw was the Emperor going and that was and it woke me up, and that was the first thing I saw when I opened my eyes was that. It's just yeah.
Now in the Jedi War Council scene that we just saw Mace talk about, that's in Clone Wars as well, because Ahsoka just comes in and says, "I was hoping to speak to Master Skywalker," and he says, "Oh, he just left."
Yes, it was. Yeah, they keep missing each other.
Yeah, and it's so tragic knowing the outcome.
Yeah,
and also Ahsoka says, Obi-Wan has nearly captured Grievous. The war could be over soon." And yeah, you think it's just so tragic because you think they're going to win, but it doesn't end that way.
Yeah.
It just ends in tragedy again.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the thing. The prequels are one big tragedy.
It's the tragedy of Darth Vader.
Yeah. And it's just and this film is hella tragic. And I know some people are put off by that. Some people don't enjoy watching this as much because it is so sort of depressing, for want of a better word. Because seeing like every character you've gotten to know over this, it just gets killed. But this is all kind of cool. It sort of washes over you in a way, just because it is so sort of
it's
CGI
so weird.
and
A cyborg riding a unicycle being chased by a man on a giant lizard. But yeah, I really don't. Oh, Obi-Wan's such an idiot here. Why are you getting into a fist fight with him? Why not just force push him again? Yeah.
Yeah.
It always makes me laugh when he kicks him and goes, "Ow!"
Yeah.
Like, what did you expect?
It's metal. What do you think is going to happen? And the thing is, they clearly have no problem killing Grievous, really, because he kills him here. They don't want to bring him in alive. They're just like, yeah, kill him if you want. So I don't know why he doesn't just force push him off that little ramp that they're on, that little platform.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really gnarly effect. I really like that. The fact that the heart is exposed and everything. That's really grim. That's cool.
Yeah, here it is, the kick. Oh, it's so stupid.
Yeah. What? I think it's because they linger on the shot as well. They linger on that bit of him going, "Ah!" It's just like, what?
And the fact that it burns through his eyes as well, that's so nasty.
It is. Actually, I saw a meme though. Actually, it's when you wake up in the middle of the night and turn on your phone, and it was just a clip of Grievous's eyes.
I'd say that. Yeah, I'd say him dying. It's way more satisfying after having seen the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, it is, because it feels built up to. Feels very built up to.
Yeah. That was such a weird transition.
It was.
The chessboard one.
Well, I think the originals and the sequels use very simple ones, like up, down, left, right, wipes, sometimes circular wipes. The prequels, we get diamonds, checkerboards, all sorts of patterns.
Oh, we must move quickly if the Jedi Order is to survive. Well, you sound really concerned there, don't you?
We must move quickly. Continues to walk very slowly down a hangar.
My worst fears have been realised. Yeah, I love Samuel L. Jackson, but you go to a film to see how nuts he can be.
Exactly,
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he can't play subdued characters. It's just he's just so dull here.
Yeah, it's not that he's playing a subdued character per se that's the issue. It's the fact that it's a subdued character who's just so painfully dull. It's a subdued character that never does anything apart from talk like this. and that's all he does. Yeah, that's it. And it's just like you got Samuel L. Jackson. Why don't you use him? You know, it's just weird.
I'd love to see a Mace Windu film.
Yeah, Mace Windu, a Star Wars story.
Coming 2030.
This is one of my favourite scenes of the saga, I think. I think this scene's brilliant.
Yeah, and there's no dialogue, apart from, I think, a voiceover from Palpatine. But, yeah, it's like that they can... Like, they're looking at each other, but obviously they're at a huge distance, so they can't exactly see each other.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like they sense each other, but they can't see each other.
And I don't think the voiceover was needed, you know. I think they could have just played with the... Because the music used to really scare me as a kid. Like, you can just hear this sort of wailing voice going, ah. It's just like, it's haunting. And it's really well done.
Yeah, because the score for this, it's kind of unique amongst Star Wars, because... It definitely makes more use of a choir, I think, more than the other two prequels. Definitely. I don't think he used a choir at all for the originals and the sequels.
No, I guess I can't. Definitely not for the originals. No. I'm thinking about the sequels. Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, it's it's my favourite score. It's my favourite John Williams score. It is
mine as well. Yeah.
It's my favourite score John Williams has ever done. I think it's amazing. And scenes like this, like Hayden's great there, where he's properly crying. It's just brilliant. This whole scene's wonderful. Mm-hmm. It just feels like the calm before the storm, where it does. Yeah. Shit is about to kick off.
If only the rest of the prequels were a bit more like this. But,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can tell Lucas has started to learn his lesson a bit more with this film.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too little, too late, unfortunately, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. It'd be one thing if the first film was like this, and the second film and the third one had learnt the lesson, but like you said, it's just too little, too late.
Oh, these 3 Jedi.
Useless.
So useless. And you only took 3 with you. Why not take the whole freaking order with you?
3...
Oh, wait, they're all dead because you took them to Geonosis.
3 randos as well. I mean, Kit Fisto is like the only one there that's you would think could manage this. It's not like he brings any of the most powerful Jedi. Doesn't take Yoda with him. These 2 get killed within a matter of seconds.
Well, apparently, according to some YouTube videos, the sound effect that apparently that's stuck. Apparently, if you're not a very powerful Jedi, it can temporarily stun you or something. So that's why they were like that.
I mean,
because that first guy who died, it's like, are we fighting now?
I mean, I did see a comment once which made me laugh out loud. It was a YouTube comment. It was like, in fairness to those 3 Jedi, I don't think anyone at all was expecting a 90-year-old man to spin across the room while screaming like a banshee. I don't think anyone was expecting that to happen.
Now, I think for the original script, and I think in early times of filming, originally Anakin was going to come with them.
Yeah.
But Palpatine would take Anakin's lightsaber, and if you look there, if you pause, you can and look at the hilt. It looks like Anakin's lightsaber. It does.
You're right. It does. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he was going to take Anakin's lightsaber and fight Windu, and obviously Anakin had to decide.
Yeah.
What does he do? But I think the reason Lucas changed it is because, well, the thing is, if he's not helping Windu fight Palpatine, that means he's already made his decision. So
yeah.
Yeah, I can see why it was changed here, but then again, the alternative isn't that much better.
No, exactly. Yeah. That fight makes me crease. It's hilarious. That's so funny. Like the faces Ian McDiarmid makes.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
The Jedi
are taking over. No.
Oh god.
No. You must die. It's so good. No.
Plus, I hate this explanation for how he becomes deformed. Like He keeps doing it. Just
stop.
It's clearly not working.
Yeah.
Honestly, to be honest, if he wasn't that scarred in this film, I'd actually be alright with that, because I'm like, well, it's the Emperor in his early days. Maybe 20 years later, this is what's caused him to look like that. But I don't know. I suppose Lucas wanted to have, the recognizable
Emperor
we know for this film. Basically saying, hey, remember Star Wars? I can't hold it any longer. 2, 3, go.
I love the music here because you can hear the Force theme coming through, and it's almost like the music is begging Anakin to turn back.
Yeah, don't do it.
Because this is just this is the last chance to turn back that he has. And it's just this...
Yeah. I'm too weak. Don't kill me.
Yeah. Oh, don't kill me, please.
He's such a riot in this.
He's amazing.
And then... Oh, he's just everything a great villain should
Exactly.
be. Quiet, loud, roaring, manipulative. Yeah.
Power!
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, it's yeah.
That was the noise he made after, becoming a grandfather.
Yes, because the Rise of Skywalker confirmed Palpatine fucks. This is a Palpatine.
Yeah, the funny
fucks.
thing is. Yeah, the funny thing is, I always assumed he was gay.
I mean...
Honestly, I thought he would have been gay. Because, I don't know. It just reminds me a bit of Scar from The Lion King, Because Scar is quite effeminate and camp, and I just thought, maybe Scar's gay. He doesn't seem to have any interest in marrying.
I honestly cannot say I ever thought about Palpatine's sexuality before the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. I love the robot chicken version of this scene. Hey, my face is really warm. Is everything okay up here? Ow! Ow! What the hell happened? Well, when you were fighting Mace Windu, he deflected that force lightning back into your face. Oh my god! I look like I have a scrotum for a face. What am I supposed to call myself? Darth Syphilis?
Yeah, no, like, yeah. Just the way this is played, like, it's effective, man. And I mean, you had that whole sequence then. It was like everything that happens after this is hinged on that one moment. And if one little decision had been made differently, everything, the tragedy that was about to take place could have been avoided. It's well done. Although that bit, the whole henceforth you shall be known as Darth Vader. It's just like trying to
it's almost like
think of a name in his mind.
It's like we've had more Tyrannus Vader. It's next on the alphabet.
Is it like the Storms in the UK where they have a list of names ready to go every time we get a new like storm?
Yeah, possibly. Oh yeah, now he puts on a black cloak because I guess he's evil now.
Yes. Ooh.
The funny thing is, he does look a bit more buff in this than he does in Return of the Jedi.
He does, yeah. He's a bit of a chunky boy.
Yeah.
I'm glad he puts the hood on though, because the I don't know if you can really notice it there, but at certain times when he's got the hood down, you can see the seam in the makeup where it goes onto Ian McDiarmid's real head, and it's quite obvious. With the hood up, you can't see it at all. But
interestingly enough, his eyes have gone yellow. In Phantom Menace, Darth Maul's eyes were yellow, and Anakin's eyes briefly turned yellow and red later on in the film. Interestingly enough, Dooku never had that.
No, which I always find a bit puzzling. Yeah.
Because they do say he is a Sith Lord, so...
But the thing is, like, people criticise that as it's like, oh, it's too obvious they're evil, but ultimately, the good guys have light-colored lightsabers. The bad guys have red. Star Wars has never been like this big morally. Yeah, no, it's been. It's always been a very. I mean, it's for kids, really. Ultimately, it's always been a.
This is a film about space wizards intended for children.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people take umbrage with that comment, but it is kind of true.
Yeah. Once
more. It's just the way his voice just goes from like normal to. It sounds like a motorbike being revved up.
I think the irritating thing is when he's in public, he doesn't try to keep up the facade anymore, and I'm like, aren't people going to question that? But oh well.
What's wrong with your face?
Yeah, this is a great scene.
Oh,
him
it's
leading
good.
the clone troopers into the temple.
It's very good.
Personally, I'd have. Yeah, I mean, for the Order 66 montage coming up, personally, I'd have liked to have seen them cut in to Anakin helping the clones murder the Jedi.
Same, yeah.
The track is called Anakin's Betrayal, so
yeah.
Puzzles me why we didn't see a bit more of that.
Yeah. This is the thing, we've seen Order 66 in so many different places now, because I don't know if you've ever played have you played Jedi Fallen Order?
No, I haven't.
There's that.
But I suppose that's about it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's a bit where you flash back to the character you play as a kid, and you're doing your training, and suddenly the clones turn on you, and you play through Order 66, and it's the same music from this film, and all the clones start attacking you. You have to sort of fight your way out of that, and it's really well done. It's really well done in that game. With the same music and everything, and combine that with the Clone Wars footage we've seen, you could. We've seen it from so many different perspectives now, and it's every time we see it, no matter what it is, it's always gets me emotional. It always gets me, because it is just such a tragedy.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and I do like how the clone troopers in this, their helmets look more like the stormtroopers.
They do, yeah.
And I think by season 3 of Clone Wars, they start using those helmets.
Yeah, like they're called the Phase 2 helmets or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a nice joke in Rebels when Rex and a few other clones, they have to put on stormtrooper outfits, and they're like, it's too tight. How do they fight it?
Yeah. Yeah, this is just brilliant. It's so well done.
Bye dickhead.
Bye dickhead. And oh man, like one of the last episodes of season 7, you see little flashes of the Jedi on these planets, and it's like, oh,
yeah. And you're like,
they're setting up for this massacre.
Her death here is rubbish. It's like, yeah. Guys, I think she's dead.
God, that moment gives me goosebumps every time when Yoda drops the cane and the music swells. It's just like,
yeah, like he can feel it.
And this whole thing, like seeing Plo Koon as well. Like Plo Koon was such a background character in the films, but once you know the Clone Wars, know how much of a friend he was to Ahsoka and how much of a mentor he was to her. Seeing this is just
wasn't he the one who found her or something?
Yeah, he was the one who found her. Yeah,
the Jedi.
They had a special kind of connection. It makes you wonder why he didn't train her. But
that's a good point.
Yeah,
though.
but it just And again, actually getting to know the Jedi and go on adventures with them in the Clone Wars really adds to this.
Yeah. I like to wonder what was the droids' reaction when they saw clones shoot Jedi.
God, yeah.
Yeah, because are the Separatists aware of Order 66? Would they know that this was Palpatine's grand plan?
I don't know that it's ever clarified. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, Gunray later says the plan has gone as promised. Like, yeah, it's not really clear what the plan is. Is it just to move them to Mustafar, or to have the clones shoot the Jedi, or whatever?
It's quite unclear, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Anakin killing children.
Mm.
That's not the first time he's done it. But this is supposed to be the bad bit. In Attack of the Clones, to be angry is to be human.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to that scene.
This kid did something recently. Like he came up again in Star Wars. Like, I think he did an interview or something. And yeah, apparently like his reaction there was genuine because he was so young he didn't really know what was happening. So when Hayden Christensen comes in looking all angry, like his reaction was kind of genuine.
Mm-hmm. Now, coming up here, the Jedi that gets killed is George Lucas.
Yeah,
son,
it is. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, son, you're going to be in my next film. Oh, great, Dad. Who am I playing? Well, you're going to get murdered. Quite viciously.
By clones, yeah.
Oh, great. Thanks, Dad. Nice to know what you really think of me.
Yeah, this is the 501st Legion, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And Bail Organa as well. Yeah, the loyalty.
You know, it's amazing. The first Clone Wars outfit that was made by cosplayers.
Yes, yeah. Very true.
Yeah, and they're very good.
They are, oh yeah. Absolutely. Which makes me laugh in a minute, because Obi-Wan says this so casually when he goes, my clones turned on me, I need help. So casual.
As if like this is just, yeah. It's like saying, I've got a flat tire on my spaceship, I need
exactly,
help.
Yeah. It's like a semi-regular occurrence.
Yeah.
All these Wookiees are dead.
Yeah. Those walkers things, they practically foreshadowed the ATSTs, I just realised.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Chewie. Thank you for being pointless you were in this film.
He looks different as well, doesn't he, Chewie, in this? He looks a lot different to how he does in the originals and the sequels. Like, the mane is wider, really.
Oh, yeah, was George Lucas trying to parody E.T. at this point? You know?
Oh, yeah.
You've got a small alien going into a spaceship, taking off, and other people looking at it. Expect a rainbow to go over the sky in a bit.
Right here, I'll be.
And now we've got the original Rebel blockade, right?
Yes, yeah. And it's
Isn't it called
the Tantive 4, yeah. And doesn't it look...
Or is it Tantive?
Tantive. Potato, you know. But doesn't that look weird and jarring compared to the CGI environments in the rest of this film? To have this big white physical set, yeah. it looks really jarring compared to everything else. It looks good, don't get me wrong, but like, you know, it's
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't surprise me if in the original version we had a bit more of this as well, of like Obi-Wan trying to escape.
Yeah, because it's a bit too easy.
Yeah, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if in the new Lego Skywalker Saga game they make a level out of that, and the level is you trying to get to the ship.
Yeah, because there were only 6 levels per episode, so
yeah,
maybe for the new one they'll add more. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I heard somewhere that the new one there was only 5 levels per episode. I'm not sure. I could have just imagined that, but yeah, I'm. It's been interesting to see if they either remake the old levels or add new ones, or I'll see what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is really frustrating as a viewer more than anything else. The fact that Padme like believes it straight away. He's like, God, the Jedi are trying to overthrow the Chancellor. It's just, yeah.
Again, she's just a walking plot convenience.
Yeah, and it's it's frustrating because we've seen before how Padme is willing to fight for what's right and for what's good, but she's sort of being like, oh, look, yeah, I agree.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, and then
so
later she says, so this is how liberty dies. So, oh, you're not going to fight for that or anything?
yeah.
She has lost the will to live.
I just feel really sorry for her in this one because she literally gets nothing to do but stay there, be pregnant, and cry.
Yeah, the funny thing is, Natalie Portman has said this is her favourite out of the 3 films she's made.
It's
Fair enough.
It's fair enough, but I mean, I guess it was an easy shoot for her, right? Because she just got to sit down.
Yeah.
At the end, she gets to lie down, have a sleep on the table for a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, Natalie, could you just look like you're giving birth? Could you just, strain a bit? There we go, perfect. All right, go back to sleep. We'll just get some shots of you from the side.
And I noticed here 3PO is entirely in gold here for the only time I think in the entire saga.
Yeah. What a... I don't know how much of a ball ache would that have been to paint out the cameras and the reflections.
Oh yeah, that must have been a pain.
Because, it's so shiny. Because it's completely, reflective.
Because by the originals he looks a bit more rusty and dirty.
Yeah.
Whereas in the sequels he looks cleaner, but he's got obviously a red hand this time, I think.
Yeah, because I think in one of the prequels to The Force Awakens, he gets his arm knocked off by something.
I remember seeing Force Awakens with my cousin, and when he pops up and says, "Goodness, Han Solo," my cousin who I saw it with just went, "Oh, not him."
You probably didn't recognise me because of the red arm. The Yoda CGI looks so much better here as well than it did in Episode 2. It looks a lot better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a clockwork swipe.
A clockwork swipe. Mustafar's a really cool planet. I mean, I know it's entirely just lava and volcanoes and things, but it's cool. It's a really sort of evil setting. Oh, and now we're back to the...
It looks like he's drying his nails.
Yes, it does, yeah.
When my new apprentice Darth Vader arrives. Right, he looks scarred. He's clearly grinning after the "he will take care of you." I'd get out of there before he arrives. Now, the birth of the Empire that's coming up here apparently was based on The Godfather. I've not seen it, but apparently there's a baby being christened, and it cuts back to his old friends being killed.
Oh, right.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
that's according to George Lucas. Yeah.
I've not seen The Godfather either. That's probably a sin to some people, but...
Mm-hmm. It's probably the last popular movie franchise that I've yet to see.
Same, actually. I'm trying to think of... Yeah, I think that's same, yeah.
And there was another deleted scene coming up here where Obi-Wan and Yoda enter the temple and they see a bunch of Jedi saying, "Master Yoda, we've secured the temple, but we fear another clone attack." And then Obi-Wan says, "You clones make terrible Jedi."
Yeah.
It's literally Tamura Morrison in a Jedi robe. Yeah. I'm glad they cut it because it's way too obvious. The clones all look the same, even when they wear a
Well,
hood.
it's always puzzled me actually because if you remember in the Lego game, there's that bit in the cutscene where they walk up to the hooded figures and Yoda goes, "Arr." And then you start playing the level.
Yeah.
And suddenly they all turn around and attack you, and they're disguised clones, and it's like, I don't remember that. And it's from a deleted scene. Probably a classic example of the developers of the game being given more resources than actually ended up in the film. And of course, this setting here was where the infamous DVD Easter egg came from, with Yoda and the clones dancing.
Yeah, that dance theme.
Yeah.
And there's Jar Jar again.
Yeah, here he is. He gets one line in this, and that was earlier on. He went, "Excuse me," and that's it. That's all she get. That's all she wrote.
Yeah, no one questions that he now looks really, really evil.
Yeah.
He's wearing a hood, speaking in a more raspy voice.
It's just like, oh, yeah, same old Chancellor to me.
Yeah, here it should have been where Obi-Wan finds Anakin's discarded lightsaber after, he throws it away and accepts that he's now Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And I think it made more sense when Obi-Wan says to Yoda, "There's something I must know." And obviously thinking, was Anakin killed as part of this attack or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wonder, do these separatists recognize him? Because, Anakin Skywalker was a hero of the Clone Wars for the Republic, so I wonder, do they know that that's Anakin Skywalker?
I mean, yeah.
I also like to think, he kills Gunray last and he lets him speak for a bit. And I wonder, is he letting him suffer just because he tried to kill Padme in the last film?
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah. It is interesting, he does actually say that, "Oh, the attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed." But it's like, still, like, come on. You're gonna have to do better than that.
Mm-hmm. I do think that line, "This is how liberty dies with thunderous applause," is pretty clever because that's what Lucas intended. We give democracy to just one person and we think it's a good thing, but we end up becoming the very thing we were fighting against.
The politics in the prequels are very much informed and are reflective of the American politics of the early 2000s. It's very much a comment on
Hitler's
that.
rise to power
and Hitler's rise to power. Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. It's it's fascism basically.
Hitler was given emergency powers, and then also there was the Reichstag fire, which was basically their parliament, which had burnt down.
Yes, yeah.
And again, we cut to the Jedi Temple being on fire and burnt down.
Yeah. And when you read up on that whole thing with Hitler and the Nazis getting into power, it is eerily similar to this. It is eerily sort of like, Jesus Christ, this is a science fiction film. But, like...
Remember, Star Wars never touched politics.
Yeah. It's like all the people now defending Gina Carano because she got fired from The Mandalorian, and the fact that she set up this thing where it's like, "Welcome to the rebellion, we're going to fight against cancel culture," and it's like, there are actually people who believe that Disney are the Empire. Despite the fact that Gina Carano was massively transphobic, compared being a Trump supporter to being like a Jewish person in the Holocaust. It's like, what franchise have you been watching for years? How can you think that she's the face of a rebellion?
And all those people who constantly bash the sequels, or all the other Star Wars films they don't like, and just go on and on about it. They completely forget the message of the original films, which is don't give in to hate.
Exactly.
Don't turn to the dark side. Yeah.
Exactly.
Same with Doctor Who, be kind. And there's quite a few people on the internet who are not.
Exactly, yeah.
Send me to kill the Emperor. How do you know he's the Emperor?
Yeah, exactly.
You went to that Senate meeting where he created the Empire.
This whole thing is a really big missed opportunity, I think, as well, because it's just like, actually seeing Obi-Wan's reaction to seeing his friend, the fact that his friend is the one behind all this, it's kind of,
he should be devastated. He should be on his knees crying.
And instead we get I cannot do it. I will not do
Because,
it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Right, this scene.
yeah, Ewan McGregor could have easily have done
Oh yeah,
that.
for sure.
Be on his knees
He's an
crying if
amazing
you had let
actor.
him, George. Yeah.
And this scene, I love I love parts of this. I love how it's acted. The bit where Ewan McGregor tries not to laugh is funny, but
Oh
where
my
he's like
God.
killing younglings and he like hides his smile. But yeah, the ending of this where he's like, Anakin's the father, isn't he? I'm so sorry, and that music is wonderful. But at the same time, it's just that it's odd the way it's delivered. This shouldn't be on a bright day like this.
I think there's a Saturday Night Live sketch where I don't know who it is, but it's basically someone who intercuts Anakin's responses to when Padme's talking to him on Mustafar. It goes, Obi-Wan said you killed younglings. And he answers with, yeah, I killed that younglings, you know, that Chinese restaurant I went to.
Interesting. If you go on a YouTube clip of this scene and turn the auto-generated subtitles on, this is one of my favourite things I've ever found. Me and my friends got a huge kick out of this. If you turn on the subtitles when he says, Anakin is the father, isn't he? I'm so sorry. The subtitles say, Anakin is the father, isn't he? I'm so horny. It's hilarious. And I can't watch this scene the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love the music in this. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and that whole Anakin has turned to the dark side. You can't just say that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so basic.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. I mean, again, just to go forward a bit to Rise of Skywalker, it's exactly like that. You're a Palpatine.
Yeah, exactly. You cannot just. It's basically the equivalent of saying Anakin is now a bad guy. Anakin is now evil.
Yeah. And again, Hayden shines
Oh,
here
yeah.
when, yeah, he's crying, realizing there's no way back.
That's
for
it.
him.
Yeah, there's no turning back now. This is who he is now, and you get the sense that he's regretting it. That tear is sort of one of regret, and he's like, "What have I done? What have I become? But I cannot go back now. This is it."
Mm-hmm.
It's a brilliantly done bit. It's a really well acted bit.
Yeah. Oh, apparently that captain with the eye patch, it's not Panaka, it's apparently a new one. It's Captain Typho.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because apparently, Hugh Corshi, is that his
Yes.
name? Apparently, they gave him the script, but it only had his lines in it, and he requested all of the script.
Oh.
But they refused, and then he just they refused, and then I don't think he decided not to come back after that.
That's such an odd little thing to.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Now, what follows here is the most. Oh, it's just. Yeah, I hate this scene with Anakin and Padme because it just. Well, we're gonna get.
We're gonna get to it, yeah. It is finished then.
Mm-hmm. And this, of course, explains what happens to the droids. Just tell them to turn them off. Yeah.
My shutdown. Is there a big switch, like a light switch on the wall? It's like, just turn this off. And now suddenly there are so many scrap parts around the galaxy.
Well, in the original Battlefront 2, you, as the Empire, you come back to Mustafar and you have to put down a droid rebellion.
Oh, sweet.
That's quite cool. That.
Yeah. I do love this bit though, where Padme sort of takes a moment of reflection, and you hear a little bit of Across the Stars. She sort of holds her head, and she's like, it's a really well done bit, but
like she doesn't know what to expect here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, what it leads into is a little bit laughable.
Yeah, because right, I'll just say it here. You know, she says, I don't believe what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan was right. You've changed. How? How has he changed? He's
Yeah.
He's whining like a little brat. That's nothing new. He openly supports a fascist dictatorship. That's nothing new. He has killed men, women, and children. That is nothing new. The only reason you're sad now is because the plot needs you to be sad. Oh, it's what pisses me off so much about this romance. Yeah, everyone says it's it's at its worst in Attack of the Clones, but it's just, I think it's even more insulting here. Just, I feel like I'm the only one who points this out because everyone's like, oh, well,
ultimate.
You did answer me. You just trailed off.
Well, no, well, I agree. Ultimately, it's like all the people. All right, gonna get properly political here, but it's like all the people who were like defending the Tories, say, and we're like, oh yeah, but you know they're gonna do a good job, but despite all the evidence to the contrary, and then only when they killed millions of people by not doing anything about COVID, only then do people go, wow, this is a surprise. I never thought that this would happen. Yeah. This is such a shock. And it's like, really? Are you really shocked?
Honestly, it's so funny. 2019, when they got elected again, I was seeing quite a few people saying, the country made the right decision. And it's so hilarious to see a few of those people now say, oh, fuck off, Boris, with your stupid COVID laws. You've made a mess of this pandemic.
Yeah.
You fucking voted for them.
Exactly. I every time I see that, I'm like, this is exactly what you voted for, though. This is no different. This is exactly what everyone thought was going to happen.
Padme is a Tory voter. Conservatives, you're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
Anakin is Boris Johnson.
What was it? We're going to get the Empire done.
Get the Empire done. Don't leave Mustafar. Leave Mustafar. Don't go to Mustafar. Go to Mustafar. Something or other.
Anakin more or less kills the very thing he turned to the dark side for.
Yeah.
Ironic.
And this is properly. This is darker than people give it. Like, he's choking a pregnant woman to the point where she goes unconscious. Now that could seriously harm not only her, but the baby she's carrying. That's bad.
And also, you will not take her from me. You just tried to kill her.
You will not take her from me.
What was it? I also don't buy this as well. I want to turn to the dark side to help save my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Again, what is one of the most iconic Darth Vader lines is, if you only knew the power of the dark side. It should be something that tempts him in, not because, I want to save my girlfriend.
Your new empire. Don't make me kill you.
But peace, security, justice, snacks, and little gas prices to my new empire.
But I
say that to a lot of people when they can't accept that a piece of entertainment only has to be good or bad. It can't be good and you accept the faults in it, or it can't be bad and you accept something that's good.
Yeah.
It's got to be either of those things.
It's either a good film or a bad film. There is no in between. There is no in between.
Yeah. And again, I think this fight does come under criticism for being too over choreographed, but again, I don't mind that because Obi-Wan trained Anakin. He knows every move he's capable of, so of course this would be a perfect fight. And the great thing is, what was it? Yeah, they trained for I think 3 months to get that fight right.
They did, yeah, and you know, a lot of people say it goes on too long, and kind of does, but at the same time, it's a proper spectacle. The fact that it intercuts with Yoda and the Emperor fighting. Every time I get to this point in the film, I'm just always like, "Fuck yeah, Star Wars," because it's just so sort of, it's so fun to watch these two duels like intercutting with one another. It's just pure like entertainment.
Hmm.
My little
Yeah,
green
because
friend. That's racist.
I love how he calls him that. I do, I do think there should have been a bit more dialogue between the two, like
Yeah,
in Return of the
I
Jedi.
agree.
Have Anakin say, "I wasted all my Jedi training because of you and your weaknesses. You know, obeying your master is not weakness, or you weren't meant to be on the Jedi Council and things like
I
that.
agree.
It's not
Yeah,
my fault."
that would have been nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of like the fight in. It's going to be such a weird comparison, but kind of like the fight between Shifu and Tai Lung in Kung Fu Panda. Because I remember watching that as a. Honestly, I remember watching that as a kid, and I thought, "Hey, this is kind of like Obi-Wan and
Oh, it is
Anakin."
true. Yeah.
Heck, Master Oogway is green and very wise and powerful, like
Yeah,
Yoda.
it's true that like that. Yeah,
My little green friend.
that's racist.
I love how yeah, he completely goes for it. I love the oh freeze push back. Oh.
Ah! And they linger on the shot for just a little bit too long, so it just looks so
Yeah,
silly the
like
way he falls over his chair.
mhm.
Bit of the Empire Strikes Back music as well. Da-da-da.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yoda's lightsaber always looked like a lollipop to me. Likenesses. Where did he get another saber from? He lost it in the first fight.
Oh, he just has him on. He just has him on demand. He's got loads of
He's
them.
got a yeah, but again, I don't think I'm just not a fan of these two using lightsabers because yeah, they should just use the Force. I mean, they do later, which I am glad about that. But yeah,
Uh,
I just don't think those characters should use
oh
lightsabers
yeah, no, I get that completely, but yeah, no, I do get
because
that. Yeah.
the way Palpatine looked at it in Return of the Jedi, it was he said, "Ah, a Jedi's weapon." Like he's looking as if it's beneath him, like it's a toy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I just couldn't see the Emperor using one.
No, yeah, I do get that completely. I think for me, I just overlook it in this because this is so much fun to watch, kind of. So but yeah, I know where you're coming from with that.
And there are good moments in the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight, like what we just saw with Anakin just using brute strength to
Yeah,
strangle Obi-Wan. That is pretty good.
and that lighting there, like
And I like
the
how
shadows on Yoda's face in the light and stuff, that holds up really well.
right, what's this bit here that's about to come up the
Yeah.
what the hell's that?
Well, it's jarring as well because that whole sort of section breaks quite a few rules of filmmaking because
It's like a rave party.
yeah, it's really jarring the way it cuts between the two. Yeah, it's odd. I love it. It always makes me laugh when you see fights in films and you hear stuff like that where it's clear that that their grunts have been ADR'd on afterwards. Because I always
Yeah.
imagine the actors in a voice booth going uh oh uh you know.
Yeah.
It's like when you see footage of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, when he's in the voice booth going
Yeah.
rawr, rawr. It's always good for a laugh.
I like how Lucas took those heavily criticized Senate scenes and
Yeah.
said, for the final film, I'll just trash it.
Yeah.
It's like that scene in The Simpsons where Bart dreams of destroying the school. Now let's trash this dump.
I like that they brought back Duel of the Fates as well.
Yeah. And again, it's a great fight of them using their force powers and not the lightsabers.
Exactly, yeah.
It's what these characters should be about.
The Star Wars films on DVD, they always had unique menus.
They did,
and
yeah.
they
It's like every time you put in the disc, it would
be a different menu. Yeah.
So weird.
As a kid, I
have no idea how they made that.
Oh, me neither. It's like the only DVD I've ever seen where that happens. And as a kid, I vividly remember putting the disc in, looking through the menus, taking it out, putting it back in, just to see the different menus. And all of the films had it.
Because this film you had Coruscant, Utapau, and Mustafar, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was always fun to.
Oh, I love this. This like one of those robot things comes up.
Yeah.
It looks like it's serving drink. Like, oh, I just want a coffee. I'll come back later.
Looks like a referee. Or it's just like, oh, keep it clean, keep it
Ooh.
clean.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm thinking of disallowing
it. It's just so unnecessary. I know that because each of the prequels had the big sort of 2-hour long documentaries. The first one was the beginning. This one, episode 2 was Puppets to Pixels. This one was within a minute, and it focused on the making of this fight. Well, actually, the making of 1 minute of this fight and how much work goes into just 1 minute of the film.
Yeah, it does make me appreciate filmmaking a lot more.
Yeah, same.
And, yeah. You do wonder if all those people who say these people aren't talented, they're talentless hacks, you do wonder if they ever actually sit down and realise how complex it is to make something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of whether you like it or not.
Films aren't the responsibility of one person. They're a collaborative effort of thousands of people. Go into it's these were very much from the era of behind the scenes documentaries being really candid, whereas now they're very much
also like with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Spider-Man 2, I remember.
Oh yeah. Spider-Man 2 has like a 2-hour long. Yeah.
I mean, we've still got them now on the sequel trilogy. I'd argue they're the biggest documentaries for mainstream films I've seen, because even the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they've got good featurettes on them, but nothing like a movie-length documentary.
Oh no,
which I do find a bit of a shame.
Same, and when they do have them now, they're all so like upbeat and positive. They're all so like, it was great. We had a great family atmosphere. Whereas these films, they showed George Lucas making bad decisions, and they showed people reacting to the bad decisions, and they framed them as bad decisions. And I don't know if you've seen that there's a documentary for the making of Frozen 2 out there, and I've not seen it, but apparently it's really like candid. Like it's really all the interviews with the people are like them tearing their hair out, stressing because Disney keeps putting deadlines on them, and I'm shocked Disney put it out, because I'm shocked they put it out. But yeah,
that sounds like if Disney would putting out the Sweatbox. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah. It's
Now this bit here, when they hit lightsabers, it always looks like they're giving a high five to each other.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Just with their lightsabers.
I think
slap me 5.
That is kind of the bit where I'm like, okay, maybe this is going on a bit too long. That's like the one bit of the fight where I'm a bit like, you could have cut that.
Yeah, and seriously, he just runs along this and jumps over the waterfall.
Yeah.
Lava fall. Yeah.
It's just It is impressive because apparently the production team actually went and like got footage of real volcanoes exploding, and a lot of like the backgrounds and this is actually footage of real volcanoes. It's like in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
They did that for Mount Doom, didn't they?
Choose your player.
Anakin
Skywalker. I bet that robot's like, oi, get off!
Well, that's the thing.
I'm surprised it doesn't move and let him fall into the lava, but maybe Anakin's using the Force to control it or something. Yeah, this I know this dialogue exchange is pretty bad, but yeah, we should have had a bit more talking. The whole from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Like what?
exactly. Yeah, it's just like it's so.
That's the thing. Darth Vader knew he was becoming evil. It wasn't the fact that these people are evil now, so I'm
Well,
good.
yeah,
No, he knew he was going to be evil.
because
So
that
yeah,
contradicts that scene from earlier where he's crying and it looks like he's reflecting and going, "What have I become?" and stuff. That contradicts that a bit because if he's just like,
yeah.
"No, the Jedi are evil," it just doesn't really. That doesn't really line up with what
Mhm.
we've seen. I must say, this film has flown by. Considering
It has,
last week
yeah.
doing Attack of the Clones,
Last week we were
yeah,
struggling to say stuff, but yeah, much
because I
better
think we
here.
got to the end of that, and I shut off the recording, and we were both just like, Jesus, that was so long. Whereas this one's kind of
Yeah,
this one's flown by.
another happy ending.
And
You should have said
this
that.
is so effective, like seeing this hero that's done all these things, and a hero of the Clone Wars, and has done all these things that we've seen, and is now half a shell of a man,
Yeah,
on the floor
I
screaming
have.
and on fire. It's powerful.
I kind of. I am in two minds of this a bit though. I do like what Obi-Wan shouts to him, like "You're the chosen
Yeah.
one." I had such faith in you, but you've made everything worse and things like that. I just don't. It just contradicts what happens in A New Hope. I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again at last. When I left you, I was but the learner. Does that honestly sound like he's speaking to the guy who cut off his limbs and left him to burn to death? You are my brother, Anakin. I loved you. I'm gonna let you burn to death. I could come over there and cut your
That's
head
a
off
good
and
point. Yeah,
show you a bit of mercy, but I just don't buy this. No.
we we
Obi-Wan lets him burn to
we
death?
should have got more of them being brothers and friends like that. Um,
Yeah.
and we did get that in the Clone Wars series, but we should have got more of that in the films. But I think, yeah, taken in isolation, that image of all of his hair burnt off, just this
Yeah.
zombie going "Ah!" like screaming, and like it's really powerful. And I'm not surprised that this was the first Star Wars film to be rated PG-13, to be honest, because it's really
I know on
graphic.
TV they do I know on TV they do edit
They
down
do,
Anakin being
yeah,
burned.
which isn't surprising. Because I think I first watched this on TV, I think, and yeah, they edited it
Yeah.
way down. Uh,
And apparently Obi-Wan picking up Anakin's lightsaber, I heard that was a late addition because maybe Lucas thought, oh shit, I just realised Obi-Wan gives Luke Anakin's lightsaber. I've got to quickly add something in.
Quick, Ewan, can you get over here in the costume? Yeah, just come over to my back garden. We'll put you on the gravel outside. We'll digitally correct the gravel afterwards. Yeah, it's fine. But
Yeah.
it's yeah. Um, there's footage behind the scenes footage as well of Hayden in the burn makeup, just sort of
Oh
wandering
yeah.
around set with a dressing gown on, just going, "Hey, what's up?" It's just like this gross like corpse looking.
Also, for the Blu-ray edition, Lucas added another swipe here. There it is.
Yeah, I can't believe that there's actually controversy with that because apparently in the theatrical version it was the wipe, and then in the DVD
Oh,
they changed it to a straight cut, and then in the Blu-ray
yeah.
they changed it back to a wipe. So it's just like,
Hmm.
why? It's just- I actually think I prefer the DVD,
Oh, there's even
the straight cut. I
yeah.
actually kind of prefer that, but again, it's just like it's a wipe. It's nothing to say.
Oh yeah. Seeing that close up of Anakin's robotic arm pulling himself up reminds me a bit of the Terminator.
Yeah, it's very Terminator. Yeah, I'm surprised that thing still works. That hand still
Yeah.
works.
Oh, I'm not making this up. There's even a video that says, "What happened to Darth Vader's private area when he was
Oh
burnt?"
no!
I mean, fair on you for making that video, but you've got too much time on your
It's
hands.
probably
Well, this is my head canon. Um, now that Padme's dead, any hot chicks working on the Empire? Oh yes, due to the third-degree burns on your sack, we had to cut off your balls.
Oh, it always grossed me out as a kid that Palpatine touches Anakin as well. It's like, dude, touching it. One, that would be really painful for him, and two, like, Jesus, I would not be touching that.
I mean, there's a deleted scene where Sidious says, "So, Lord Vader, you have 10 seconds to explain your actions before I kill you." It's my first day.
It's my first day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this
How long has Padme been pregnant? Because what, she announced it at the start of the film, so how long has this film gone on for?
Well, it
6 months.
does kind of puzzle me, because I believe she's pregnant in the last season. I know she can't be pregnant in the last season of Clone Wars. No, she can't, because they go off to rescue the Chancellor, and then Order 66 seems to happen in a matter of days. So what, did she go from like not showing to like
maybe it works differently in this universe.
But they're both human, right? Like, I don't...
Yeah. She's lost the will to live. Oh. But Obi-Wan, what happened to my... But Obi-Wan, what happened to my mother? Oh, she died because she lost the will to live. What, she didn't think having 2 kids would be worth living for? No. Yeah, because, again, it contradicts Return of the Jedi.
It does.
When Luke says, "Leia, what do you remember about your real mother?" And she says, "I can remember small things, but, what, when you were 10
seconds old, you had the capacity for memory, yeah. Though, I do love...
Well, I think Lucas has tried to explain it by saying, oh, it was images of... the Force put images in her head when she was younger.
Yeah.
You made your bed, Lucas, now lie
I just remember the Hello Greedo video where he's like, well, what about this? This is a plot hole, right? And he's like, well, maybe I'll make a super special edition of Return of the Jedi and cut that scene out. Would you like that, smart ass? Now, I do love the intercutting of the birth of the twins with Darth Vader's birth. It's really well done, really well done, and also the floor where Darth Vader is on the operating table is the Empire logo as well, which is a cool.
Oh, it is. I've never noticed.
Cool detail, isn't it? Yeah. Speaking of cool details, there's a very cool detail later on where it's been debated for years, and if you slow down the audio or something, you can and turn up the volume, you can kind of hear it. Before the mask goes on, you can kind of hear like this vague voice go, "Padme, help me," but it's like it's really quick and it's really quiet.
Yeah.
So there's debate whether it's even there or not, but it's been a theory for years. And there's...
Well, I've seen a scene that they filmed where I think originally they were going to have the Emperor say, "Awaken him," and obviously that's when he comes up. But yeah, I think it's more effective without that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, and another cool detail then is if you listen to the sound, his heartbeat stops when the mask goes on. And then as he starts breathing, the heartbeat resumes.
Yeah.
It's like literally Anakin dies basically, and then gets reborn. Really cool scene. I really love the birth of Vader. I think it's really well done.
Yeah. It just annoys me. She's lost the will to live.
Yeah.
She's a walking plot convenience at this point, and bye.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, it's pretty safe to assume that him strangling her probably didn't help, considering she was pregnant. But
okay, fair enough.
But even then, it's just like I was always as a kid really confused as to why she actually died.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly,
and they bring James Earl Jones back to say, "Where's my girlfriend? My girlfriend?"
Yeah. But have you heard?
Imagine him saying, "Love won't save you, Padme.
Only my new powers can do that." Yeah. But I don't know if you've heard the story. Apparently, Hayden Christensen had to fight to be in the Darth Vader suit because Lucas wanted to do it all CGI.
He did, yeah, because Oh,
It's like, poor guy, you hired to play
oh,
Darth Vader, and you're having to fight to be in the suit.
yeah, yeah. I kind of love Palpatine's reaction to when he asks about Padme. He's like, "Oh, we still doing this
Yeah.
shit?" It's just like, and he just comes up with such a half-assed explanation, like, "Oh, in your anger, you killed her. Now, can we get on with being evil
Yeah.
now?"
I kind of like how he stumbles a bit when
Yeah.
he walks off that thing, because it's like he's having to relearn how to walk and stuff. Ah, there we go.
Yeah. Ugh, the no.
No! And then, of course, because everyone loved that so much, he added it into Return of the Jedi. Because everyone
Oh
loved it in
God.
this.
Mm.
That was mocked for years. I think there's actually audience reaction of this that someone filmed at the time, and you can hear laughing with the no thing. It's just like...
Uh,
You had a great scene there, and it stumbles right at the end.
I do like this ending. How there's no dialogue, and we can all put the pieces together.
Same,
And
yeah.
it's a shame they cut a scene with Yoda landing on Dagobah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a...
I guess you don't need every minuscule detail of all these characters because we already know what happens to Yoda.
No,
But
yeah.
I think it would have been nice if they kept it in.
Yeah, because I think on the DVD as it is, it's like in pre-vis stage, isn't it? It's like unfinished CGI.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's... I agree. I don't think we needed to see that, because at that point it's just sort of like... It's overkill. But I like the ending as it is, because everyone is in the place that they need to be for the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And
And I don't think, yeah. And this whole thing about I'll learn how to commune with Qui-Gon, I will teach you, something
yeah,
like that. I think that was Lucas saying, "Oh, that's how Obi-Wan can come back as a Force spirit
yeah,
later," as if to suggest only really powerful Jedi can do that. So, yeah, I don't think he intended for there to be an entire TV series
no,
about
yeah.
it. And also, 3PO gets the last line of the prequels and the first line of the original
Oh
trilogy.
no, that is a nice thing. But however, I do think that's like the one bit of
Yeah.
laziness in this ending is,
Yeah.
just wipe his mind. Protocol droid's mind wiped, and so there's no reasoning for it, just mind wiped.
Mhm.
It just doesn't.
And here comes Jar Jar. There he is, and there's Boss
There he
Nass
is. There's Boss
actually.
Nass as well. Yeah, I mean they would be at her
And
funeral.
one
To be fair, it's
detail,
nice.
yeah, and one detail I've noticed is that they've made it look like she's still pregnant,
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
as if to suggest that her kids are dead as well. So obviously the Sith won't look for
that's
them.
interesting. Yes, that's
And
good.
there's that pendant that Anakin gave her in episode
Yeah,
one,
which is a
which is
really
nice.
nice little callback and a really sort of heartbreaking bit of. Yeah, it's a.
And building the Death
Yeah.
Star.
Though, don't ever look up photos of Wayne Pigram here, who plays Tarkin. Oh my
Yeah,
god, it's
Grand Moff
terrifying.
Tarkin, yeah.
It's okay here because you only see
Oh
him from a
no.
distance. But if you actually look at photos of him, it's scary. The prosthetics they've applied to him.
If that Death Star took 20 years to build, how come the one in Return
Yeah.
of the Jedi took, what, a year?
If that. But then again, there
Well.
is some confusion of like how long after Empire does Return of the Jedi take place,
Yeah.
because it's never really confirmed, and it's.
Is this planet Alderaan?
I think it's meant to be
It
Alderaan.
must be.
Yeah, I think it's meant to be Alderaan.
Yeah, because Leia does say it's her home
Mm.
planet, and obviously she'll think of this as it, even though she's adopted.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I like how you can hear Princess Leia's theme here. That's a really nice
It's
touch.
really nice, yeah. It's
As if to suggest that there is hope on the horizon.
exactly, yeah,
With these two children.
and of course we don't. This isn't the last we see of Bail Organa. He does pop up again in Rogue One.
Mhm.
We won't be covering Rogue One
Yeah.
on these commentaries, but this isn't. And yeah, this ending is amazing. I've
It is
always
great,
I've
yeah.
always loved
Looking
this.
at the two sunsets, and there's no dialogue. Again, it just visually shows you everything where
Mm.
it's being put for the original film.
It just perfectly syncs up and lines up, and it's a wonderful end to everything.
So it's funny how It's funny how Owen and Baru, they look like they're in their early 20s here, but by the time A New Hope comes on, they look like they're in the
Yes,
60s.
yeah. And Obi-Wan goes off into hide. Yeah, it's just really. I mean, you can debate all you
Yeah.
like the logic of hiding someone's son on Tatooine, the place where Darth Vader was born.
Well, I don't like
But
Sam's
yeah, but I just think this, and I love that the music as it ends, and it's just a wonderful ending to the prequels. I don't think it could have
Yeah.
ended any other way, really.
Hmm. Yeah, I do like how it ends, but I just think how we get there is really sloppy.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely Revenge of the Sith. I do really like it, and I've praised a lot of it.
I do,
I've
yeah.
praised a lot of it during this, but I've also slagged it off quite a bit. There's good and bad in it. It's definitely my favourite of the three of the prequels. Um,
Yeah, I think because it's got the most plot to work with, but again, it's a disadvantage
hmm.
because again, things feel rushed but yeah, I can't, yeah, it's a film I don't mind watching occasionally, and I can't say that about Menace and Clones.
Yeah, I like it. I just there's more drama. I think
And it got,
it's more. Yeah, it's.
and again, it's the film that got me into Star Wars, so I really can't fault it
Oh
for
well,
that.
yeah. There you go. Yeah. As a kid, it
Hmm.
was my favorite, and it was certainly the one I would watch the most as a kid. Um, but
Hmm.
yeah, like I said earlier, it's interesting how the perception of it has changed. Oliver Ford Davis gets a credit. He was in it for like 5 seconds
Yeah, the
at the
funeral
funeral.
scene, I just realised.
Yeah, no,
And Samuel L. Jackson and Christopher Lee are pushed to the
yeah,
back.
and it's like starring Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, and Hayden Christensen are the three. Hayden Christensen should be like at the top, right? Because it's about him. The film is about
Yeah, because
Anakin.
I'd argue he's the main. Yeah, he is the main
Yeah,
character here.
basically, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's as an ending to
And another
an
thing,
era of Star Wars.
yeah,
It's just it's yeah. I don't know.
and I'd argue that it's the closest one to the original trilogy. I mean, not counting the anthology films. It's the closest one to the original trilogy, but the problem is it's the most CGI, so it just doesn't.
Yes.
It's honestly quite jarring, say, from a Star Wars marathon, to go from this film, which is all digital, to something like A New Hope, which is so old-fashioned in its filmmaking and very
Yeah.
practical.
Which is why
Yeah, it is such a jarring
it
thing.
is.
Yeah.
Which is sort of why, although I'm not too big of a fan of the anthology films, I like that they're there if you're watching all of the
Hmm.
chronological films because it means you do get a bit more of a bridge to that, in terms
Yeah.
of the aesthetics. But yeah, it's
Hmm. But yeah, Revenge of the Sith. It's an okay film for me. There's definitely greatness sprinkled here
mm.
and there. The highs are definitely higher than anything Menace and Clones put out, in my
Oh yeah,
opinion.
no,
But also the lows, I don't think have gone away. I think they're still there, unfortunately.
agreed. Yeah, they've not gone away. They're still there. They're eclipsed by a lot of the highs, but like you say, they're not. They're not.
Hmm.
They are
Yeah,
still there. You can't get away from it really, which is a shame. It is a huge shame, but
yeah.
yeah, and I certainly.
And I'd probably never watch Menace and Clones again unless I was doing a marathon. But yeah. But yeah, honestly, I'd just say start with this one because it just gives you everything you need to know about Darth Vader's backstory, and
Basically, yeah.
yeah, the other two really don't.
Essentially, yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of fondness for the pre. I think as has come out during these commentaries, I have a lot of fondness for the prequels, but they are deeply flawed.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's this is really the one. This is the meat of it. Clones and
It
Menace
is, yeah.
are all set up basically. This is the meat of. You want to see how Darth Vader became Darth Vader? Here you go. Um, and
Yeah.
then what's come from the prequels and this film in particular has eclipsed it, I think, because the Clone Wars, I think, adds so much to this, and has also ruined it for me. It's just that's so good, and yeah, it's interesting that it's now 16 years old, though. It doesn't feel like it's just.
It's the same age as New Who, actually. I just realised.
Yeah, 2005.
They came out the same year.
2005, yeah.
And Batman Begins as well.
True, yeah. What's that? Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt. What was that?
Sound editors Ben Burt and Matthew Wood. Great guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and as I say, it's got my favourite score of the saga and my favourite John Williams score ever.
Definitely,
I think it's amazing. It just yeah.
So we have made it through the Star Wars prequels. That's one trilogy down and two more
one
to go.
down, two to go. The beginning has been begun. The beginning has begun. The beginning has been completed. Yes, so I hope you've all enjoyed these commentaries to the Star Wars prequels. But fear not, this is not the end of our Star Wars commentaries. We will be coming back next week. What will we be doing next week?
We will be covering the original film, the one that started it all, Star Wars: A New Hope. Sadly, we are not doing the anthology films. We're only sticking to the Skywalker saga at this point. So, unfortunately, Rogue One and Solo will not be covered, but we will be back with A New Hope.
We will indeed, and look forward to that. I hope you all enjoyed this commentary, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.